Well, good evening. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for one of the wildest trading days in a very long time across the board. It's Thursday. It is the 20th of November at 6 p.m. And all I can go is, my hair's a mess. I'm a mess. I was looking at the markets today going, what the heck is going on? And, NVIDIA was up beautifully last night, made a high early in the day, and that was it. Everything around it started to crumble, and that NVIDIA started pulling back, and I'm watching it and going, what is going on? And the good news is my traders, knock on wood here in the futures markets, they didn't have any positions on. So we were lucky. Maybe that's the way to look at it, because my work hasn't said to do much. Now, I do think that the gold market in the 40-50s is an interesting area to be looking at the market. I think energies, to me, just me, still look, if you will, high in price. Bonds and notes, well, the market is now looking and going, what happens if we break in the stock market tomorrow the way we did today? What do you want to be in? That's a problem, and you're getting a bid in that for that reason. The dollar got right up to the upper Bollinger Band and stopped right there and turned around. Interesting. In terms of news for tomorrow, you're going to get the S&P Global Group releasing their U.S. preliminary November manufacturing sector PMI at 845. We get wholesale inventories and sales data. That'll come out at 9 in the morning. We're going to get the final November consumer sentiment indices from the University of Michigan at 9 o'clock. And later in the day, a cattle on feed report. So in the futures trade, that's what you've got. We saw earnings come out from Walmart today. They look phenomenal. NVIDIA's, I don't think either of these companies could have done better earnings numbers. And yet, Walmart held up 6%. Not the case in NVIDIA. What do you have to do if you're a company that size to get this going? So for whatever reason, the consumer, the trader, whoever you want to call that person, they got nervous and they dumped. And coming from the futures side, I can tell you how it goes. You start selling the things that are good to hold on to the things that are bad. It's always the wrong thing to do. But that's what people do. And then you get the Johnnies come late to the party, and they go, I don't want to hang around anymore. I'm dumping everything I have. And you're in that. It's not often a one-day correction. You can get into a couple of days before that thing runs its course. So far, what we're not seeing is that the pros are stepping back in to gobble up price. I mean, people that wanted to buy a dip, here's the dip. Some of these markets have wiped out the year's earnings. Take a look, for example, at Bitcoin. Yeah, you're reading it right, 86,870. This is a market that was just up to, 128,000? So you've given back the whole year in about a 6-week period or so. When I take a look at the energy markets, I'm watching what's going on here. And you know my thoughts. I think that the Saudis made a deal with the President Trump, and they're going to say oil will stay controlled. We know we're getting your jets, tanks, chips, blah, blah, blah. Stock indices, I have no answer for. That's why I look the way I do, all right? Worn out. I mean, that was one heck of a break. So let's go to the market. First off, we've been talking, can the market get back to the 18-day average of 65,099? You're under it. So it took all this as the first time that we're under it. Now, that's real interesting to me. Look at how the market today fell apart. You don't get these kind of days that often. Last night, NVIDIA carried up in the aftermarkets. A lot of stocks, people were probably buying, figuring, this is it, I'm coming in. And the market opened and nothing really went. Everything started slipping back. I was watching how it was going. You're now in a downtrend in this market. You're down to the 100-day average and the Bollinger Band. So you're in an area, but you had been here before, 3 days ago, that I thought the short covering would happen, and you went right through that area. Are we going to go back here to the 62.58 area? anything can happen in a crazy time. When I look at oversold, you're there. So I have an oversold market that's into support zones, period. That doesn't mean it can't go lower, and there's no reason other than the market's oversold if you're going to be a buyer. When we come to the NASDAQ, you did the same identical thing, oversold, not even close to embedding. Is it going to let go of all this and go to the 2273 level? I don't think so, but it could. When I look at the Dow, you're in the support level again. You're oversold. Are you going to let go and come back to the 44,480 level? I don't know, but you could. When I look at the Russell, the weakest, it fought its battle at the 100-day average. That one I got right. And the market came down. I'm the first to tell you, and I want to be the first, I did not expect that NVIDIA was going to break the way that it did today. No way. No way at all. I don't think you can get a company that made more money, has a better looking balance sheet, is sold out for a year, and yet it comes down that way. But I'm not a fundamental trader. I'm a chartist. And as a chartist, my work was saying, be careful, you're up to the 18-day average of closes. Watch the financial update, you'll see what I'm saying. In the DAX, well, if we're coming apart, they're coming apart. They're no better than we are. They tried the upside. The market most certainly tried to hold the combination of the 200 and the Bollinger Band, but it too let go. So I would be looking at today's highs in the stock indices. And if they're taken out, write this down, mark them on your chart. If they're taken out, that is a sign it's all behind you. And the market's now moved on, the washout has taken place, and that's it, including DAX. Let me come back to that. Including the DAX, including these highs right here and all these. Why not? You're not going to keep discounting that same news more than once. In the 10-year note, where you'd expect to see a bid, notice how you couldn't even get up and over the Bollinger Band. Same thing in the 2-year note, all right? We know where the money was flowing. When you get scared, people buy the dollar often. They buy U.S. Treasuries. And here's the dollar. Just yesterday, let me come back to this. Just yesterday, you and I were talking. Let's see if I can get this to work with me. It doesn't want to. I love when that happens. Maybe now. Now, not enough data to move it. I was looking that maybe we'd get to the Bollinger Band, and it's there in the tapes from yesterday, and that's where I'd expect to see some resistance. We went right there and the market stopped. In the euro, if that was going there, I said maybe you can get down here to the lower Bollinger Band and the 200-day average. You got pretty close. You're not there yet. You can still go there. When we come to the end, no. They're talking of throwing $120 billion at their economy. They're broke. They want to throw money to spur things on. Market's not buying into that at this point. And in Bitcoin, you have an embedded reading. You're riding the lower Bollinger Band. You embedded a while ago, and you're still falling away. And when I was telling you this market was recently up in the futures near 128,000, yeah. So you've lost a third of the value, everything for the year, all gone. And what happens is people in Bitcoin leverage. And they'll go in. I see them. We get the calls. People ask me, I got 2-3 times leverage. I got all my money in Bitcoins. I heard that one yesterday, too. First of all, you should never have all your money in any one thing. You should have diversity. That's important. In the crude, look where you fell back to, the Bollinger Band. But this has been an impossible market to try to catch a trend on. You had an outside day up. You took that high out. Now, this will work. We have enough days here of the data, and I'll show you. If you haven't taken my course on outside days, it's right there on the website at iraepstein.com, education courses. If you take out that low, the odds favor you're going either to the closest moving average under a market, and it's not there, or the Bollinger Band. Look what you did. Look at that, nasty hitting it. Exactly what the work does. Same thing's happening in other markets. Now you're down to the Bollinger Band here. You're oversold. I mean, I'm not screaming it's a place to go short, but I'm certainly screaming I did expect a pullback. Heating oil. I didn't understand why it went up again at this point. Then I read last night that there's a polar vortex that's coming back into America for the first and second weeks of December. November 20th, it's a bit early to be playing a polar vortex that's going to come in that early. You know, in January, I'm more worried about a polar vortex than I am early December, but it can create a lot of havoc. But I think that's what the market was looking at, and the nat gas is still looking okay. I don't like that momentum, which often leads price, is pointing down at this point. All we've done is go to the 200-day average and continue to fight a battle and can't get through it. So is this the time to be a hero in the markets? Absolutely not. Is this a time to sit back and say, do a lot of the chart action that you look at, if you take the name off, make sense to do anything? Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy your weekend. Maybe that's the right thing to do. In any case, I'm Ira. Remember what I just said. You go to our website at iraepstein.com. If you move your cursor to the top there, you'll see the icon for it, and there's one back there. I'll catch up with you in the other updates tonight. And, of course, I'll see you tomorrow. I hope to be able to do a morning update. When things got today crazy in the morning, I couldn't do the update. I still have clients, brokerage firms, got to do what you got to do. I'm Ira. You take care.